I'm sorry. My friend is having a good time. So again, I'm here as the athletic director, and my name is Chris Fulton. I humbly serve, and it's really a pleasure for me to stand in front of a group of people and talk about or listen to for me to listen to your stories. And from where we sit, I say this every year, from where we sit, you are still that person or that high school student while you're not, but the stories that we were going to talk about, we'll start with that. We'll start with you being very good on the athletic playing fields. And Coach Smith brought something up. He said, well, we should start maybe looking at people and their academic pieces as well. I'm like, well, we'll see. This is Athletic Hall of Fame. But we can still look at that as well. So I think that's important as well, because that's what we stand for. And so we want to get started with the program, and the way it's going to work is I'm going to call out the person who is being honored and who they're being introduced by. The person who's introducing them will come up and say a few words. Coach Jepsen, you're going to say a few words, right? And I'm sorry, that's my guy, I love him. So, and then that person will come up. Again, let's take advantage of the time that we have, but let's not take too much time, if that makes sense. And we're here to honor you, and so if you get as they say when I was growing up, if you get the Holy Ghost and you gotta go with it, then let it go, okay? So with that being said, if we're ready, I'm looking for you to say you're ready. Everybody's ready? All right, good. So the first person we are going to induct into the Windsor High Hall of Fame is Mairin Dudek, class of 1979, football and baseball, being introduced by Coach Jepsen.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody here and congratulate everyone who's being inducted tonight. It's quite an honor, and hopefully you look at it that way. Don't just take it for granted, because you put in a lot of hard work, and a lot of time. Now, okay. He said I got 5 minutes. Hell, I'm still. When I give
2 minutes.
Oh, 2 minutes.
I'm joking.
Oh, now he's joking. Yeah, I was going to say, usually I'm in my introduction in 5 minutes, still talking. In any event, it's a pleasure for me to introduce Mairin Dobrutsky. Wayne had a very good career here at Windsor High. I've known Wayne since he was a little boy, when he used to come to my clinics down at Clover Street. And he reminded me the other day when he called me that a good part of our 1979 state championship team was at those clinics also. So it's nice to know that those kids continued in the game, and it's very nice to know that these people have become successful in life. And as I told somebody one time, I spent a lot of time with these young people, boys and girls. And I look back, and my only hope is that somehow, some way, they would say that I contributed to their growth as young adults at the time. If that's all they can say, that's fine, because that's really what I see as the purpose of high school coaches. It's great to get awards, it's great to get honors, but we have a very, very distinct purpose as coaches, and that is to take people like Wayne and all these other people that we've coached and help them grow and be willing to help them long after they're out of high school. So Wayne is a guy that was, along with Willie Marchuk, and Willie, I guess, was going to be here tonight, but unfortunately hurt his back doing taekwondo or whatever he's still doing at 60-something years old. And those two guys were really like the verbal leaders of our team. Whenever something would go amiss, I could depend on one of them to try to gather people together and make guys realize that the game was not over until, the final out. We had a lot of comeback wins, especially in the state tournament in Wayne's senior year, 1991. And it's very pleasant for me to indicate that, for those of you who don't know, the 1991 team was ranked third in the country in a mythical national high school poll in collegiate baseball newspaper. And a number of those guys went on to play in college, which I was very fond of, and glad to help them along the way in going to where they wanted to go. So I wrote down a couple things. I'll try to be quick with this about Wayne and so forth. Wayne was a senior. We went to Florida on a spring trip. And it just worked out perfectly because we didn't have a February or an April vacation that year in Windsor, but we did have one in March. So we went to Florida, and we played 3 exhibition games down there. We played Tampa Catholic, Tampa Jesuit, and Bishop Moore. And those were 3 very strong programs. When we got to Tampa and played Tampa Catholic, it was the first day we were on the field because that year in March, we had so much snow, there was no way we could get outside. So it was our pitcher's first day on the mound and everybody else's first day outside batting live. And Wayne and those guys said, Coach, don't worry about anything here. We're going to give you our best effort, and they did. We only got beat 10-6, and the reason I think we got beat 10-6 is because our pitchers walked a dozen batters. And, we hadn't been on a mound, and yet these guys, I think, were enjoying it. While we were there, we went and saw a spring training game. Montreal Expos, which are now the Washington Nationals, and the Minnesota Twins. And one of our players, Michael Hugh, who was Boys Nation that year, he was the Connecticut Boys State Person of the Year. And Michael was having a nice conversation with the shortstop from the Twins, Roy Smalley. Well, Wayne was the luckiest guy, in my opinion, because some of you may remember a guy, I think he spent some time with the Red Sox, Andre Dawson, okay? Heck of an outfielder. Andre broke his bat in one of his bat attempts. Come to find out, Wayne ends up with Andre Dawson's bat. And some years later, I said, Wayne, you still got that bat under your bed? He goes, yes, I do, Coach. I think that, I'm not going to ask you, Wayne, if you still do, but I know he was excited as could be. And the other guys, just the idea of going down there and playing and meeting people. A couple of the players got to interview a couple of the Red Sox guys while we were down there, and so that was fun. So Wayne and those guys, that was the introduction of that season, where we went on a trip. Everybody started to bond with each other, and we just had an enjoyable time. Then we came home, and when we left Tampa, the coach at Tampa Catholic, and by the way, it was our first day on the field. They were already 17-2. So you can see the discrepancy in the amount of practice time. In any event, the coach from Tampa Catholic says, Coach, I just want to tell you, you're going to have a heck of a season. He says, you came down here. We've been out for 2 months. You haven't been out at all. I just have a feeling that your team's going to have a heck of a year. And obviously, by winning the state title, we did. So Wayne and his teammates, we had a game with Wilbur-Cross. And Wilbur-Cross, of course, is historically known for having a great basketball program. And I didn't know how good they were or were not in baseball. We found out real fast. We didn't play well that day. They beat us. But I want to show you what the kind of kids were on that team, 1979. On our way home, Rainbow Bus Lines, the bus breaks down in Cromwell on our way home after losing 5-0. And then they had to call and bring in another bus. We get back home, 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever. I'm in my house with Joanne and sitting there eating supper. All of a sudden, I see a car pull into the driveway. It was Wayne and a few of his teammates came to my house to apologize for losing and telling me we'd never lose another game that year. And I can't remember, we did have 2 losses that year, and I can't remember if the second one came before that or after that, but it's immaterial. It just goes to show you the kind of kids that run that team and how they view the winning and losing, okay? So I wanted to point that out. And then getting to the end here. Oh yeah, we went in the postseason. We had a little tournament in New London. And we had New London, Fitch, Gilbert of Winstead, and us. First game, we beat Fitch. Second game, we beat New London. So we won the championship of the New London Invitational that year. And as Wayne was telling me the other night, New London kids, and rest his soul, my best friend at the time was the New London coach. I mean, we were very, very good friends. And his team was very cocky. In other words, they had won the state title in Class M the year before, and you got the feeling that they didn't think anybody could beat them, and all they had to do was show up with their uniform on, and let's get going because we're going to win anyway. And Wayne might want to expound on this when he gets up here, but Wayne was talking or looking at one of his teammates, and he says, and the coach from New London hears him, he goes, "New London who?" And my buddy jumped all over him, but I intervened and I said, "Hey, I'll take care of it, don't worry about it," and so forth. But Wayne showed that night that he wasn't going to be bothered by anything anybody was going to say and do, and he didn't really take too kindly to teams that came with this, cocky approach. So that took care of that. And then finally, we win the state championship, and I think Wayne may have been waiting for 3 years, 4 years to do this. We get on the bus, and all of a sudden, Wayne gets up in front of everybody, and he starts imitating everything that I had done in terms of, how I gave signals, this and that. I couldn't stop laughing, and neither could anybody else. He did a tremendous job with that. And the one thing I want to point out, I should have pointed this out at first. Wayne, as a sophomore, took the place of our shortstop one game because the shortstop had gotten hurt. Wayne went 5 for 5 in the game, and most people would think 5 for 5, he's going to be in the lineup. He was for the JV team the next game because I never believed that when a person got hurt and somebody takes his place and has a good game, that's the end of that previous player. So Wayne hung in there with it, did a great job for 3 years, and is more than deserving of this recognition, and I'm very proud to say that I've known him, like I said, since he's about 8 or 9 years old, and it was an honor for me to coach him. And I would say this, and I don't say stuff like this too often. If anybody had 9 players with his approach and his attitude, they'd never be a losing team. Okay, so at this point in time, I'd like to introduce Wayne Dobrutsky, honoree.
Really sweet of you, bro. Thank you so much.
Yep, okay.
You know, help coach. Hold on, we'll get you.
What happens when you umpire for 60 years? You're bad knees.
Thank you, Coach Jepsen. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing this evening? First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this incredible honor. I'm extremely humbled. Is it not working?
It is. I think you just got to post it up a little bit near your face.
Give a little boost up.
Yeah.
How about that? No?
Oh, did you turn it on?
I think it wasn't working when Coach Jepsen was there.
There you go.
Okay, cool. I'm going to just make a quick another start up. We'll start all over again. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. I want to first and foremost thank the Hall of Fame committee for this incredible honor. I am truly humbled and really proud to be able to be associated with some of the past Windsor High grades that my dad took me to see when I was a kid. And back in those days, Windsor High School guys were our idols. It wasn't Carl Yastrzemski, and it wasn't Thurman Munson or Mickey Mantle. It was guys like Lou Allen, Sal Tanasi, Steve Caliendo, Dave Blanchard, Dave Muldoon, Terry Farrell, Bob Gallant. Those are the guys that my friends and I looked up to. Windsor High guys that played football and baseball and basketball and hockey. And to stand up here today and be recognized amongst their names is really, really special. Coach Jepsen, our relationship goes much, much deeper than Central Valley Conference and state championships. I'm so glad that you brought that Clover Street School Kastner Sports Complex clinic up, because that was the start of something really big. Elton John had a tremendous song years ago from the movie The Lion King, "The Circle of Life is the Wheel of Fortune." Well, our circle of life, for what we went through as a coach and playing for you, started that day in Clover Street, where guys like Ernie Cirillo and Dougie LaRoe and Mark Zarek and myself and Michael Hugh and Willie Marchuk all participated. And who would have known back in 1979 that we all stand at Quigley Stadium in West Haven victorious and handing that first ever double L state championship on that great day and that glorious afternoon in West Haven. So for that, we really appreciate, I along with my teammates and your former students, appreciate your dedication and your leadership and mentorship throughout the years. And for that, we're very, very grateful. So I'm coming up, we're driving from Boston, my wife. Go ahead, yes. So my wife and I are driving up from Boston this afternoon on a beautiful day, and she says, listen, I know the way you get when you're with your buddies. You get a little excited and, you get a little ramped up. But listen, it's a long night. There's a lot of recipients. They're going to want to move the program along quickly. Nobody cares about the Rockville game, okay? So just stay focused. I go, really? She goes, yeah, no one's interested in the Newington game in 1978, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's understandable. It's a long night. So I kind of waited for 30 seconds and I said, what about the Double L State Championship semifinal game, Muzzy Field versus Cheshire? What about that? She goes, absolutely not. I go, fair enough. But I did want to give thanks to some people this evening and wrap up on a really positive note out of appreciation and heartfelt thanks. And, I got to tell you, when you play on a state championship team, you have a lot of memories, and you have some times that were really, really amazing. And I only wish that every student athlete, whether it's from Windsor or Palisades, California, I only wish that those student athletes, male and female, could experience that bus ride we took on that day to go to Quigley Stadium, but even more so, that bus ride we took back as state champions. That was something that we'll always remember. And I truly, truly believe that, when Coach Tayson told us back in '79, it won't have as much meaning to you now as it will 35, 40, 45 years from now. And he was actually really, he said the gospel, because we have more appreciation for it now, Coach, than we ever did before. So in closing, I'd like to thank a few people tonight that got me to where I am as a person, certainly as an athlete, but obviously we all need a little help along the way. Coach Jason always used to instill, it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them and you can grow from it. Mistakes are okay. Don't make bad decisions. Bad decisions can hurt you. Bad decisions can hurt your family. Bad decisions can hurt you for a long time. I always remember that, or we all did, playing for Coach Jason. And some of the best decisions I've made, I'm happy to say that it's probably the best decisions I did make. And tonight I just wanted to, when it came time for me to play college baseball, fortunately I had a couple opportunities to play at different schools. And I got recruited by Westfield State University, and I'm very, very happy and very proud and thankful that I have my coach from Westfield State University here tonight, Ken McGarrion, who's here to see me inducted into the Hall of Fame. Coach, a very special guy to my family and I, and we truly appreciate it. The state of Connecticut has Bill Holowati. The state of Massachusetts is Ken McGarrion. So thank you so much. And of course, I'd like to thank all the people at Windsor High School and my former teammates. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees. And most of all, in closing, I'd like to thank my family who's here tonight, my sister, my brother-in-law, Scott, my sister, Rosemary, and her husband, Bob. And of course, I'm have a special guest this evening, a very special honored guest today, my roommate from Westfield State College, Representative Brian Ash is here tonight. And I really appreciate you taking time, Brian, to come out. I got to tell you, like most kids, everybody grows up to want to sign that $1 million contract and play shortstop for the Boston Red Sox or the New York Yankees. That's what we all wanted to do. I never did sign that $1 million contract with the Boston Red Sox, but Windsor High sure gave me $1 million worth of memories. I thank you very much for this incredible honor. I wish everybody a happy night. Have a great holiday season, and thank you so much.
Okay, so our next inductee is Mairin Dudek, class of 1998. Soccer and softball being introduced by Jen Flint Bullock. Is she here? Okay. You all set? Be careful, it's kind of slippery up here.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name's Jen Flint Bullock. I'm Windsor High, class of 98, and I'm thrilled. 98? I'm thrilled to be here to support my friend and former Windsor High School teammate, Mairin Dudek. Mairin and I met at Oliver Ellsworth, and we played together soccer and softball through Windsor Soccer Club and Windsor International Little League. I told her I wouldn't talk about sixth grade All-Stars, but so I'm not gonna talk about it. But, my knee injury that was sustained really propelled the rest of her softball career. So we won't be talking about it, Mairin. But I just, wanted to make sure you knew that. In high school, my teammates and I knew that Mairin was different. We called her MD Dedication. She wouldn't stay up late and hang out when we had a game the next morning. She did not complain about running up Capon Street. Neither did I, Coach Vola. I did not complain. I was thrilled to be able to do it. But she always was there to work hard, have fun, and do what was best for her team. She lettered in soccer and softball. She captained both teams. She helped lead the softball team through 4 CCC West championships. She went on to Ithaca College, where she continued her softball career, once again, 2-time captain, and even getting the game-winning hit to help the Ithaca Bombers win the 2002 national title. Go Bombers. I didn't go to Ithaca, but I gotta say it. I think there's another Bomber here, yep. And because Mairin couldn't get enough softball, and if you are part of her life today, you know that she just lives, sleeps, eats softball. She went on to coach at the Division 1, 2, and 3 levels. I remember her early days of coaching, and she brought that same MD dedication that she brought to the fields of Windsor. She's brought that dedication to the fields of upstate New York, Boston, Western Mass, and now as head coach at University of Hartford. One of the coolest things about her career is that she's now even back working with Windsor High coaches and athletes at the club level, which I think is an awesome full circle moment. So thank you, Mairin, for always working hard, having fun, and putting your team first. You've made an impact on so many players' lives, and I'm glad to call you a friend. So congratulations.
Sorry, I had to write this out. I'm usually not great with words unless I'm speaking with an umpire. So just want to really thank the Hall of Fame committee for this incredible honor. Congratulations to all the other inductees. It's really a privilege to be inducted with this group. Definitely a special thank you to Jen and Sarah and Allison, my high school teammates, and everyone else who put together this nomination. I really appreciate all the time and effort it took that went into this. Windsor was a very special place to grow up. It shaped me into the person I am today. I met my best friends on the fields and in the classrooms and around the neighborhoods of Windsor. Those friendships that I have today are still very important in my life. As a college coach now, I realize how lucky we were to have such a strong youth and high school athletic program, with coaches who pushed us, guided us, and helped us along the way. For me, it started at Welch Park with Will, at the Windsor High School pool with the Water Rats, and Northwest Park with Windsor Town Soccer. From there, I moved on to Windsor High, working my way through the soccer and softball programs. In soccer, we had the dreaded Capon Street runs, and Charlie Vola, who always kept us motivated, even when we were facing some of the strongest teams in the state. I'm sure we weren't the easiest group to coach, especially the group of us, Jen, Sarah, Allison, Katie. But under Coach Vola's leadership, we were always focused in practice, for the most part. In softball, so much of the reason I was able to excel at the sport is because of the coaching of Phil Melcars. He coached us hard and with discipline, but we're better for it. And we know that he cared about us so much. The success of the softball program in the 90s was truly because of Phil. The support within Windsor High was also great. We had great assistant coaches like Bill Alexander, who I actually still coach with today. He's one of my assistants on staff at Hartford. Mr. Grant, who took photos of us at our games. We had many student managers and other teachers and administrators like Mr. Johnson, who always cheered us on the sidelines. But most importantly, it was my teammates. I was really fortunate to be surrounded by great women all 4 years. And so many of them helped shape my experience at Windsor High. And I'm really grateful for that. A big thank you to my family, who always came to my high school and college games, especially my Graham. To my husband, Paul, even though he's not a Windsor High grad. He encourages me and always tells me to keep coaching and always lets me know when I make bad decisions while I'm coaching third. And lastly, huge thanks to my parents, Chuck and Mary. They've always been there rooting me on, and I'm forever grateful for their love and support. Thanks again. This means a lot to me. I'm really proud to be a Windsor High grad.
Okay, this went off? Okay, I didn't do a good job of explaining it. So when you're finished, we do have a plaque for you up here, and we'd like to give you the plaque and take a picture. So I know you're nervous when you come up, but just, if you can come this way, we'll give you the plaque and take the picture, okay? So I didn't do a good job of explaining that. I apologize. So our next inductee is Paul Lepak, class of 2004 soccer, being introduced by James D'Alessandro.
I just feel a little inferior. Is this on? A little inferior. Mr. Chasen's memory, mine, he's talking about 45 years ago, and I'm struggling to remember last week. So shout out to Mr. Chasen. Good evening, everyone. What a great night. Great company, great memories. I'd like to extend my congratulations to all the inductees. Well deserved. I'm just not going to use that. Well deserved. I am honored to be here tonight to speak about Paul Lepak. For those of you who don't know me, I am a teacher at Windsor High, have been for a long time. I often tell my students, look at the people you surround yourself with, because that's probably a good reflection of who you are. Now, it would be foolish to talk about Paul without mentioning the people he surrounded himself with his whole life. That would be the Lepak family. They are truly one of the great Windsor families. Mom and Dad have been incredible supporters of not just Windsor soccer, but the whole community. Mom even worked for the Windsor Public Schools as a family resource coordinator, and she always had a warm and kind smile for every child that she came across. Growing up, Paul had two older brothers, Pete and Chris, and a younger sister, Melissa. They all went through Windsor High, well, all except for Pete. He felt he needed to go to Loomis, but we're going to give him a pass on that one. Every one of them had the soccer gene deep in their DNA. Each excelled on and off the field, and they all celebrated each other's accomplishments. If you've ever spent time with the family, you know they're the real deal, loyal, supportive, and genuinely good people. So while this is Paul's night, I have to recognize his foundation, his people. Paul's soccer career speaks for itself. He graduated from Windsor High in 2004 after 4 outstanding years as a starter. He was a 3-time All-Conference selection, a 2-time captain, Hartford Kern All-Academic, and junior and senior year he missed All-State by 1 vote each time. So he was just below, but in my heart, he was an All-State guy. I fought for him, but he didn't get the vote. Then he went on to Springfield College. There he was a 4-year starter, 3-time captain, and finished his college career ranked in the top 5 for all-time minutes played. This means he never came off the field, which made his coaches very happy and his backups, well, frustrated. But here's the thing, being named captain that many times at 2 different levels isn't just about skill. It's about trust, it's about leadership, it's about character. Paul's teammates and coaches clearly saw what everyone in Windsor already knew. He's the kind of person who makes everyone around him better. Paul went on to graduate from Springfield College with a degree in physical education, and just like his 2 older brothers, Paul felt called to give back. Today, all 3 Lepak brothers are teachers and coaching soccer, passing on their knowledge and their values to the next generation. Paul has taken his talents overseas and is currently teaching and coaching in Shanghai, continuing to share his passions for education and soccer with students all around the world. It's no surprise that he finds success wherever he goes. Leadership and integrity travels well. Even halfway across the globe, Paul is still doing what he's always done, inspiring others, setting an example, and making the people around him better. That's just who he is. Whether in Windsor, Springfield, or Shanghai, the impact remains the same. And with all that said, what I love most about Paul is that if you took soccer completely out of his life, he'd still be a Hall of Famer because his kindness, leadership, humility, loyalty aren't just tied to soccer or a sport. That's just who he is at his core. Paul, congratulations. Your family, your teammates, your coaches, and your town are all proud of you, and it's been a true privilege to watch your journey. Paul Lepak.
All right. Hello? Maybe we won't use that. I'm a PE teacher, so can you guys hear me back there? Or? All right, good. Well, Coach Dow, thank you very much for your introduction. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for putting on this wonderful event. Couldn't be more excited to be here with my large family over there. Thanks, appreciate it. Windsor is such a special place. You don't realize how unique it is until you spend some time away. This town is so diverse. On my high school team, at one point, I think we had 12 different languages spoken. Not only do we have diversity present here, but it's also celebrated. I mean, come on, we were eating Jamaican beef patties in our high school cafeteria. So good. I was small, still kind of am, weak and not fast. But what I did have was a work ethic that couldn't be topped. My dad taught me early on, everything you do, put your name on it. Be proud of your work and never back down from a challenge. Thank you, Dad, for that lesson, one I carry with me every day. There's a few people, obviously, well, maybe not a few, but there's some people I'd like to thank that got me here. Start off with my brother, Chris. We were each other's biggest competition growing up. We literally compete in everything. As I've gotten older, I've gained more respect for you, how you treated me. It couldn't have been easy having your younger brother outshine you. It's the truth. But you never once complained or tried to bring me down. Instead, you embraced it and became my #1 fan, always by my side, celebrating every win as if it was your own. If the roles were reversed, honestly, I'm not sure I could have done the same. Thank you. I'll always remember that. My brother, PJ, one of the best coaches I ever had. You were tough on me, but you set me on the right path early. When my parents went out to dinner, you'd make me and Chris clean the whole house. You drove me to my tryouts and tournaments all over New England, helped with recruiting, checked in during college, and showed up at my games. You saw my potential and did everything you could to push and support me, so thank you. My little sister, Melissa, love you to pieces. Always there when I needed to talk or just needed someone to listen. Thank you for being my favorite high-pitched cheerleader. Appreciate it. Coach Dal, I'm not sure you realize how much of an impact you had on my life. In high school, I knew I had a teacher and coach who could listen, guide me, and give honest advice about my future. You're the reason I'm a PE teacher and a big part of why I'm standing here today, so thank you. My parents, mom and dad, my biggest supporters, who made it just about every single game they could, from playing at LP Wilson when I was 4 years old, actually with Coach Will over there too, I remember I was on your team, to matches in Lake Como in the Swiss Alps. And Mom, I'll never forget those early 2000s road trips with no GPS, just printed directions and a whole lot of wrong turns in Southern Connecticut. I've never heard you swear so much in your life. You guys were there for it all. I love both of you. Thank you for everything. And last, to my entire family, thank you for all the love and support throughout my soccer journey. I'll never forget you showing up to my Springfield College games wearing shirts with Lepak on the back. Or the times the Windsor High soccer team showed up in buses, literally buses, to my Springfield games. I'll never forget the first Springfield College game you guys all came to. The announcer just finished calling the home starting lineup, so me and all my friends are standing at half, and I look over and I see literally 2 big buses with all these Windsor High kids coming, screaming and shouting. Kids were yelling my name, waving. Then came the opposing team's lineup. So they're like, all right, starting for Amherst College, number 5, Mike Smith. And then you just hear, sucks! And I'm just like, and like my teammates are behind me, like tapping me on the shoulder. I can't look because I'm just cracking up. Now next one, number 7, Steve Johnson, sucks! I'm just like, oh my gosh. My teammates and I are trying so hard not to laugh, but we lost it. My coach was giving me death stares. But it was worth it. I scored a goal in the game, and the boys went absolutely wild. It was something I'll never forget. I felt like a rock star. But honestly, that's Windsor, and that's why this place means so much to me. I'll leave you with this. You can take a kid out of Windsor, and trust me, you have. I've lived on the other side of the world, in Singapore and now in Shanghai. But you can never take Windsor out of the kid. Thank you.
They weren't talking into it, like, you can't talk to the side, and they were moving back.
Okay, so let me get myself together. People moving my papers up here. But anyway, our next inductee is Terrence Knighton, class of 2004, football and basketball. And to speak on Terrence's behalf, Terrence is as a defensive line coach at Florida State University, and they have a game tonight. So he was unable to be here. But to speak on Terrence's behalf is his basketball coach, Coach Ken Smith.
Good evening. How are you? I'm not used to being up here like this. But I want to say thank you for honoring my man to the Hall of Fame committee, because it's well-deserved for him. Also, I'd like to say congratulations to all the winners, and it's so amazing because I remember you guys when you was in high school back in the day. And it's good to see you. And now you're coaching and you're doing all these other things. It's great. But I'm not going to be long because I don't have a memory like my main man, Barry. But Terrence wanted me to say some words, and he really wanted to say thank you to the Windsor High School Hall of Fame for nominating him. He said he takes pride in his roots. He said this was great to him because he had a good 4 years here. And he said it means a hell of a lot, and he's sadly that he couldn't make it tonight because he does have a game, a late game at that, and he couldn't make it. But he said he wish he could be here. And he says, Coach, tell him that I love him. Then he says some stuff about me, and it ain't nice to say. So I'm not gonna say it. But he said he greatly appreciates the town of Windsor, the high school, the coaching staff, the AD. Speaking of ADs, Charlie Vola, Sarge, thank you very much. I love you guys. I do, you know, because you helped me grow. But Terrence really, he wanted to say that he really appreciates this moment and he wish he could be here. So, but that's it. Oh, by the way, he's gonna fly me down to watch him play his home, his last game, because I did this tonight.
All right. Tell him he has to get tickets for everyone in this room. Flight included. All right, so our next inductee, Cole Ormsby, class of 2013, football. Introducing Cole is his brother, Brandon.
Testing, 1, 2, we good? Can you guys hear me in the back, especially my mom and my aunt? This is my moment too. No, I'm just joking. I have the honor to induct my brother, obviously Cole Ormsby, but I was second in line. His twin brother, Lance Ormsby, was supposed to be here, but he's on a voyage called Virgin Islands Cruise, so he's enjoying himself for a bit. But I wish I wrote something today, but I didn't, so I'm just gonna speak off the top of the dome. My brother, I watched him from midgets. We're talking about Giants League, not 09-05, we're talking about Giants, where you're supposed to go undefeated every year from midgets, C team, B team, A team. And then when you get to Windsor high school football, same thing, freshman year, JV year, you're supposed to go undefeated. So Cole, he embodied all that from Giants. You could watch him play. You just had what we like to call that dog in him. We grew up on that. You had that dog in you. You just do what it do. You just, I can't put it in any other way, anything like that, but every time you step on that field, you want them to remember your last name. So that's what we strive for, which I strive for, but he definitely superseded that from me, so I'm proud of him. Just some of the stats he had from himself. His senior year, he had 17 sacks, then 17, I think, and a half tackles for loss his senior year. Junior year, he had 13 sacks, so he put his name on the map for Windsor High. And following Terrence Knighton, Chris Baker, like, so D-lines, you play D-line, you're something. You're something when you make it. So he was a two-time All-State football player, 2012 Walter Camp All-Connecticut, two-time All-Conference, and then he was the 2010 Decade Team. So that just speaks to all his accomplishments. So I just want to introduce my brother, Cole Ormsby.
How everybody doing? I didn't really write a speech. I'm kind of just freestyling, but I got to give all praise to this man right here. I mean, long live my Uncle Jeff, rest in peace. He introduced us to the game of football, but this man right here, I got to say, he schooled me to the game of football. He taught me everything, basically just all the ins and outs, not even the X and O's of football, just like, hey, make sure you standing up when you tired, make sure nobody see it, everything. So I got to give everything the praise to this man right here, my dog. Appreciate you. Now I just got to shout out my foundation, my core, my mom, my aunt. They did everything for me. Everything, like food, everything. Didn't have to worry about nothing. I got my cousin Chauncey, my cousin Glenn back there. They always show me the right things to do. I got my big-headed daughter and my niece back there. Heads a little swollen. They got their heads from their daddy. You feel me? But hey, I love them. They is perfect children. They always nice, always just beautiful children. Yeah, I think I'm all right. I just want to shout out to Miss D'Alexander right there. Hey, I went to high school with him. Miss Ova. I went to school with her daughter over there. Ken Smith right there, yes sir. Miss D'Alexander, I don't know if she remembers. She was my home class teacher. I don't know if she remember that, but yeah, I just appreciate y'all coming out. Hey, Windsor High is a big family. It's very, very diverse. You get people from Hartford sometimes, you know what I mean? Y'all know, they bust over a little bit, we keep it quiet. They ain't not supposed to be over here, but we got kids bust over from Hartford, you know what I mean? We got kids come from everywhere, so everybody y'all know how to deal with people, like, y'all know how to, you know what I mean? So, hey, I appreciate y'all, and have a good one. Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Oh, man. All right. I'll be your agent. You know, we got some comedy shows we need to do pretty soon. All right, our next inductee, Kelsey Jepsen, class of 2014 swimming, being introduced by Neil Beaulieu.
I didn't know if you missed somebody. Michael Phang.
I didn't hear him. I'll get him in a second. I think people messed my thing up.
Truly an honor and a pleasure to be here tonight to introduce Kelsey Jepsen for her induction to the 2025 Windsor High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I love this kid, and honestly, believe it or not, we are similar in so many ways, and I suspect we're both nervous as hell about speaking here tonight, but incredibly honored and appreciative of so many people. Kelsey began her swimming career with the Windsor Waterettes as a shy 7-year-old, and she faithfully stayed with the team until she graduated high school in 2014. That's 11 years and 22 seasons, and I wouldn't change a thing about my time with Kelsey. Yes, she had her up and down seasons like all swimmers do, but in the end, she's just the type of swimmer I love to coach because she cares so much about everybody and everything. Kelsey was also a 4-year member of the Windsor High School girls swim team, earning the title of captain her senior year. After high school, Kelsey went to Ithaca College, where she swam for the Bombers all 4 years. Throughout Kelsey's career, she's earned just about every award the Water Rats give out. She was a regular top swimmer in the state of Connecticut, the CCC conference, as well as the CIAC finalist. If you get a chance to stop by the pool, you'll see Kelsey's name still listed on the record board for the 100-yard butterfly event. Woo. Kelsey is a one-of-a-kind swimmer who always did things right. When you first meet Kelsey, you might say to yourself, why is this kid always so nervous? But once you truly get to know Kelsey, you realize those nerves are because she cares so deeply and honestly just wants to please everyone around her. That's quite a burden to carry, and I love Kelsey for how gracefully she always carried it. In the pool, she was always hardworking, respectful, and caring, and always put the team first no matter what. While some kids are more concerned with results, Kelsey was more concerned with the team and how the team finished in the end. She was a true team player, and I can't thank her for always trying her best to be her best and for always believing in me. It was a pleasure to coach Kelsey and watch her grow up. Currently, Kelsey is living and working in Champaign, Illinois, and still caring about others. Congratulations, Kelsey.
Yeah, he was not incorrect. My heart is stammering in my chest. Thank you for the introduction. That I was praying, I kept saying over and over again, please don't make me cry, please don't make me cry, because then I'm going to have a really hard time up here. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, especially because I feel like I'm one of the newest inductees. I just graduated 10 years ago, but also because I just don't feel quite deserving. Thank you so much to the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you so much for deciding that my performance was enough to induct me. Thank you to, firstly, I'm going to just get through people I want to thank, and then I want to say a little something about like youth athletics. So other coaches that are in the room, parents that are in the room, all the supporters of youth athletics, thank you so much, because you're the people who supported all the athletes that get inducted, right? Thank you so much, especially when we're talking about coaches, Neil, who introduced me. Also, I know Celeste Over, who probably maybe remembers coaching me in middle school cross country. She's not just a coach, she's a former athlete, parent of 2 children who are also inducted in this Hall of Fame. My aunt and uncle, 2 aunts and uncles, Mary Lou and John. Mary Lou, who was class of 1984, valedictorian of Windsor High School. Laura, who was class of 1983, 84, not sure. My sisters, Amy and Erin, and my parents, Donald and Carmen, for supporting me. The love of my life, Manish. Okay, so I think I got through all the people I wanted to thank. I just want to say something about my experience in athletics. I was always an anxious child. I think we probably got that from the introduction. I'm an anxious adult as well. And I think that this affected me the most in swimming in some ways when I was a kid. I think every athlete in here knows the feeling of you just put your heart into every single practice you do, and then that doesn't translate into your competitions. For me, that was like every single time, essentially. And it was hard. I think eventually I found a way through it, and I found a way to compete and achieve success. But at the end of the day, that was not my greatest accomplishment. My greatest accomplishment was not the success that I found. My greatest accomplishment was learning to, when you have something that does not go the way you planned, despite months and months of hard work, going back to the drawing board and starting again from absolute scratch every single time. And I think that what that gave me for years and years as a child is taking the struggles of life, the pain, the difficult times that we have over and over that no human can escape, any flavor of pain and struggle in life. And going back and trying and giving your best to the world despite its horrors and despite its struggles. I think that's the greatest gift of youth athletics. So thank you so much. for supporting all the athletes and the youth. I think it's definitely contributing to their resiliency and their character. Thank you.
Okay, so our next inductee is Michael Phang, class of 2013, soccer and track and field, being introduced by Coach Lepak.
All right, welcome. Hello, everybody. I've been in Windsor since I was 4 years old. Well, I'm out now, but I remember moving here as a young kid and just admiring all of the coaches and players at Windsor High School. We grew up about 6 houses away from the soccer fields. Zito, Over, Smith, Vola, Chasen, those were names that we just heard all the time. I used to just admire the youth baseball players and the soccer players, and was very excited to go to Windsor High School myself, and then I ended up going to Loomis, which I don't know why, but I was very excited. My senior year, we had to become, we had to choose something that we wanted to do. I chose to be a coach, like a youth coach, and I ended up coaching youth soccer in Windsor and fell in love with it, and ended up being a 10-year coach running the soccer program in South Windsor, or at Windsor High School, sorry. And I had a bunch of players my first year. I think we won 1 game. It was against the best team in the state, but we went through 5 or 6 years of just really tough soccer. Soccer is not a big sport in Windsor. And all of a sudden, this young group of boys show up. One of them was Michael Phang. In fact, we called them was it the freshman four, Mike? Fab Four, whatever you guys want to call it. Mike Phang, Justin Wynn, Tyler LaCofta, Amani Prashad. These 4 kids showed up and absolutely changed Windsor soccer for years. Even though I had good players in my 10 years in Windsor, we never had a great team until these boys showed up. They turned this program into a very successful 3-year span, which included numerous state tournament berths and a quarterfinal appearance that included beating the #1 team in the state, Watertown, in 2012. Mike led the team in goals. He led the team in assists. He was Windsor soccer. As a captain, he was known around the CCC as a top offensive threat. He earned multiple all-conference awards. He was one of the first people in Windsor in a long time to win all-state. He was an all-Hartford Current as one of the top players in the state of Connecticut. And then he ended up graduating and taking his talents to Southern Connecticut, where he played soccer for the Owls. But not only was Mike a complete player, he's a complete person. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So respectful to his coaches, his teammates, his opponents, and one of the hardest workers you'll ever see. Throughout my tenure at Windsor, no Warrior soccer player was ever more feared, more respected, and more liked. It's my pleasure to introduce you guys to one of my favorite players, Mike Phang.
everybody. Just want to say thank you to the committee, the Hall of Fame committee, for giving me this opportunity, and congratulations to all the inductees tonight. I'm keeping it short and sweet as possible. I never crossed my mind once being able to have this opportunity, and to think that I would be up here. As Coach Pete told me, or as he said, soccer is everything to me, especially growing up. I was very average, getting by with my scholars, but when it came to soccer, it gave me value. That's how I took it as growing up. It gave me something thought I was worth something. So, I don't get emotional, sorry. But yeah, growing up in Windsor and playing, it gave me something to be proud of and to look forward to the next day. I can't tell how many times where whatever was going on in life, I had soccer to turn to, and Coach Pete was there, his family too as well. His brothers, everybody was there for me, instilled this confidence in me on the field, and that I can be something. My daughter, she didn't make it up here, but she started out playing as well this year too, so it's awesome to see that there's opportunity to be something within athletics, and especially in the town of Windsor, and I'm thankful. I also wanted to say that during my time, I remember Pete told us that when it ended, we're gonna miss it, and during that time I was like, it's high school, like whatever, that's fine. But now at this age, I miss it every day. I've made friends that he named after freshmen for, that we call each other. They're my brothers now at this point. One of them are godparents to my daughter. Been to weddings, engagement parties are coming up, and it's crazy to think about how much time has passed by, and now that soccer is done, so to say, and my time in Windsor High School is all done and all that stuff. But I'm just really thankful, and it's a blessing to say and be up here and be able to say that. For all those that play sports and the future that's coming up, I just hope that they take it just as serious as I did, because it was an outlet and literally my life growing up. If I didn't have soccer, I don't know where I would be or who I would be. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. And
All right, well, I'll take your time while we have this transition. At the end of the ceremony, the posters are yours to keep. So make sure you take the posters with you, okay? Just want to make sure you take them with you. All right. Okay. Man. So our next inductee is Dominique Bettez Fox, coach. She is not here tonight. She was able to attend, but she will be represented by Coach Judy Saxton. And Sheila Martin will accept the honor on the behalf of Dominique. So if we can come up, that'd be great.
I was blessed by Dominique Fox to be asked to introduce her tonight. I will refer to her as Dom almost all the time because it's the only name I ever used by her as her coach or as her athletic director. Of course, she never called me Judy either. She could not be with us tonight. She is retired and lives in Florida, but now has some physical problems that prevent her from traveling. Her careers in coaching and teaching were very unique. She began at a time when girls were still fighting for their share of time and space in athletics. Plus, she began her professional career in the business world. In high school, she played 4 sports. That doesn't happen very often. The 4 sports were field hockey, basketball, softball, and sometime on the boys' golf team, on which she did very well. She graduated in 1983 and was inducted into this Hall of Fame as an athlete. I do believe, and I checked with a couple of people who might know better than I, that she will be the first person ever to be inducted as both an athlete and a coach. Bill Lazinski hired her for her first coaching position as the freshman basketball coach, and she moved up to varsity for 4 more years before becoming a mom. Well, everybody knows that's going to change your life a little bit. This period as a coach made her realize she belonged in education. She began teaching math and coaching boys varsity soccer at Granby. In 1996, 1 week prior to the fall season, the AD at Windsor High School, me, recruited her to take over the field hockey program. Unfortunately, it was in danger of folding. We'd had a wonderful life earlier, but it wasn't making it now, and I wanted to give them another chance. Dom had many conflicts in her life at that time, but she reluctantly agreed to give it a shot. They grew from 14 players to over 40. In 1998, they could field both varsity and JV teams and would earn the first of 6 consecutive state tournament appearances. In 2000, she accepted a position in the Windsor High School math department, and she took on her second coaching position within the same school year. This woman was unique and loaded with energy. In 2002, her team finished 9-4-1. Dom says her most memorable moment came when the team hosted and won a quarterfinal game in the state tournament. They won the CCC West, and in 2003, they won 10 games and the CCC. As a varsity head coach at Windsor High School, her teams won a conference championship in 3 sports: field hockey, basketball, and softball. In 2004, Dom became a full-time administrator, but she coached 1 more season of field hockey. We always have 1 more season in us. She retired from education this past summer. Title IX came along in time for Dom to use her incredible talent as an athlete and coach. She deserves the second Hall of Fame award. First as a player and now as a coach. I so wish she could have been here tonight so that as her coach and colleague in athletics, I could just give her a great big hug for everything she did for all of us. I'm not quite sure where all the programs would have gone. She had just so much influence in so many areas. So from me in particular, Sarge, your coach, your friend, congratulations, Dom.
Good evening. I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of my friend Dominique Fox. Although she is unable to be here tonight due to a medical reason, she asked me to express her deep gratitude for this incredible recognition. Being inducted into the Windsor High School Athletic Hall of Fame as a coach is truly meaningful to her, not only as a celebration of years of dedication and teamwork, but also as a tribute to athletes, colleagues, and community who made it all possible. She is proud to be part of Windsor's rich athletic tradition and sends her heartfelt thanks to Judy Sarge-Saxton for introducing her, the committee, her former coaches and players, and everyone who supported her along the way. Thank you.
Okay. So last but not least, we have Neil Beaulieu, distinguished contributor, being introduced by his son, Connor.
All right. Good evening. Congratulations to all the honorees tonight. It's truly special, in my opinion, to be introduced and inducted into your hometown Hall of Fame. No matter how far you go in a sport or in service of a sport, home is where it begins, and that oftentimes starts with coaches who really believe in you. Welch Park, Windsor High School Pool, John Fitch Playground, those might not be the massive stadiums of some of the colleges that you see on TV or pro stadiums, but the number of lives impacted by coaches in just this town can fill those stadiums. I have the privilege of introducing Neil Beaulieu, Coach Neil, my dad, the coach of the Windsor Water Rats for over 26 years and still counting. I swam for my dad from ages 6 to 15, and going to swim practice with Coach Neil was always the best part of my day growing up. In those car rides, he'd tell me what practices were going to be like, what we were working on, and why we were doing those things. Mondays after meets, he would hand out handwritten progress reports, and occasionally those reports would come with copies of motivational quotes that said things like, practice like a champion, but the ACT in the middle of practice were in a different color to highlight act like a champion. It's pretty hard to balance coach and dad, but this is where I get to tell you how consistent his work ethic and care have always been. Growing up, he'd come home from teaching with just enough time to mow the lawn because the lines had to be perfect before taking my sister and I to practice. And now, on weeks that I'm too busy with my college team, he drives to my house in Massachusetts and cuts my grass before the Windsor Water Rat practices. And back then, after practices at Windsor High, though we'd get to go to practice with Coach Neil, we'd get to leave with Dad. He'd put the Red Sox game on the car radio and let my sister and I take turns picking random routes to go home just so we could get to spend a little bit more time with him. Now, when he's driving home from practices and meets, he'll give me a phone call and talk about his team and mine. It's that consistency that really defines him. Long after all three of his children have moved on from the Windsor team, my dad has never really stopped being Coach Neil. He's the same person for everyone every day. It's a superpower. Because I know that yesterday, Coach Neil drove to the pool listening to the same Pandora playlist, yes, Pandora, that he's had for over a decade. He's still handwriting workouts and making photocopies to put at the end of each lane. And for people who don't know swimming, we use computers for that stuff now. And I can tell you what he's going to do on Monday afternoon, too. Every little thing that Coach Neil brings is intentional, authentic, and truly coach-like in the most cliche and best ways. But in reality, my dad just really cares about his swimmers. And for almost 3 decades, and over 3 decades if you include his time coaching in Enfield, each swimmer has had a unique place in his heart. Being a coach is as much a part of who he is as being a dad. He cares that we all see our own growth and confidence build in a sport that is essentially measured by our ability to work hard and navigate the mundanity of excellence. I'll wrap by tying a fun part of knowing my dad separate of Coach Neil. He loves rewatching the same movies on TV over and over, and then he'll quote them mid-conversation all the time, and then look around the room to see who picks up on it. One of those movies is Coach Carter, and at one point in the movie, Maya Angelou's famous poem is quoted as, "We let our own light shine, we unconsciously give each others the permission to do the same." How lucky are all of us to know Coach Neil, to have a coach and father so humble in personality and consistent in approach to look to as we learn who we are and how to let our own light shine. Congratulations, and please welcome Coach Neal.
He doesn't get his speaking from me. At my first practice with the Waterettes 26 years ago, Connor was in my group. And whether he knows it or not, he's been with me every day since. So thank you, Connor, for that introduction, and thank you for always being by my side. I want to thank Ellen for nominating me for this award and the Hall of Fame committee for finding me worthy of this award. It's truly an honor to be joining some swimming greats that I've known or worked with over the years. Marty, Curtis, Sharice, Spencer, Melissa, and tonight Kelsey. It's truly an honor to be in your company. Congratulations to everyone being recognized tonight, and a huge thank you to everybody that's here tonight to share and support me in this award, especially Nell and Sam, Jared, Kira, Twin A, Twin B, Allie and Les, and my good friend Tom. It means the world to me. A couple of years ago, I had a chance. A couple of years ago, I had a chance to say thank you to some important people in my coaching career, and I failed miserably. So tonight, I hope I get it right to say thank you to so many deserving people. First, I'd like to thank my parents. As a kid, I was at best an average athlete and an average student. But because of my father's love of coaching and my mother's belief that I was special, my parents always made me feel like I could accomplish anything. So a huge thank you. Thank you to so many special Windsor people that helped get me started so many years ago as a young student teacher and a young coach, especially Bill Lazinski, Charlie Vola, Gary Dennis, Georgia Miller, and Bob Levine. They were the best. In 1999, I began my coaching career with the Waterettes, where I have proudly coached and still coach so many Windsor high school swimmers and future high school swimmers. And let me tell you, I love everything about this team. To me, the Waterettes are perfect. Thank you to Candace, Heather, Nicole, and countless assistant coaches that have been with me over the years to help keep this team so special. Big thank you to my Waterette family. First to the parents, thank you so much for your support and trusting me with your kids. Thank you to all the swimmers. I especially want to give a shout out to all the swimmers that always showed up and tried their best, even on days that they were tired. That always did what was asked without question and always with a smile. That always said thank you and asked how my day was, even though they were struggling. That always led by example, not because they were the most talented, but because kindness was their superpower. And to all the kids that made coming to the pool every night exciting and fun, thank you so much. While I wanted each and every swimmer I worked with to be a star, in the end, what I'm most proud of is always trying to create a safe space where kids could work hard, have fun, and to quote Ted Lasso, be the best versions of themselves. Finally, a huge thank you to the most important people in my life, my family. As a coach, I was always all in, and I almost never missed a practice or a meet. I followed the simple rule that success doesn't just happen, it's a decision you make every day, and I tried my best to be at my best every single day at the pool. So I can't thank my family for being so supportive and understanding with my all-in commitment to this team. So thank you to my three great kids, Connor, Kira, and Kian, and all the Waterette swimmers. Oh, they're all Waterette swimmers, and all three swim coaches today. I was so proud to be your coach, but even prouder to be your dad. Thank you so much for always trying your best, not because you had to, but because you wanted to. And thank you for so many great memories, especially those car rides to and from the pool. They were the best. And last, a huge thank you to my wife, who's been by my side for 34 years. Thank you for always being there for me and with me through all the highs and lows. And thank you for your unwavering support and for believing in me even when I may not have believed in myself. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
that brings us to the end of our program. I just want to end by saying thank you all. I feel so very blessed to have sat in that seat and listened to your stories. Very compelling, very funny, and very authentic. And so I feel blessed to have been here tonight with you and to have listened to your stories. We were able to come and celebrate individuals who embody the Windsor spirit and those who use their gifts not only for the games, but to make a difference in people's lives. And so I thank you for all coming this evening. I thank you for sharing your stories, and Godspeed. Don't forget to take, yeah, thank you, yeah, I appreciate it, thank you. So don't forget to take these, because they're yours, all right? The signs are yours, not the answer, none of them, but just the pictures, okay? Thank you so much.
Yeah.